Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I gotta tell you, during this time of year, a lot of singles reach out to me because they're feeling sad or lonely and they haven't found that person, or maybe they're seeing someone and that person's not committing to them. Well, I want to share with you an inspiring story today, and it's a story of one of my clients, how she went from doormat to princess. And if you have any love questions, please go to amiethedatingcoach.com. Click on Let's Talk and send me a message. All right, let's jump into the story. I met this client, let's just call her Jenny. She is just drop dead gorgeous, a boss babe. She has a career, she has her own house, she is killing it. And she comes to me because she's struggling, because she has this thing where she just loves too quickly, too hard, and unconditionally to all the wrong type of men. I'm talking about the players, the cheaters, the liars. So if you're Joe Schmo and she barely knew anything about you, it didn't matter. If she put a label on you that you were her boyfriend, that was it. She loved you like a prince, unconditionally, to her own detriment. See, Jenny really wanted a family, so she wanted to get married and have kids. So she bowed to her boyfriend's every request, hoping that it would land to the next step, marriage. So when he wanted her to look like Selena Gomez, that's what she did. When he said that he liked Kim Kardashian's body, she started changing her body so that she could look like Kim. This is a recipe for disaster. Some of you may know someone like this, or maybe you've fallen for the marketing trap. I know I have for sure. Red flag. Why? Because you're basing a foundation of a relationship on superficial qualities. And you know what? To me, like attracts like. So if you're starting with being inauthentic in the beginning, you're going to attract inauthentic people. So Jenny had this boyfriend, let's just call him Mike. With Mike, she often sat by the phone waiting for his call or texting him a million times just to see if he would answer. Even though she changed her look so that she would look more like him, Mike wasn't that inspired by it. He actually didn't call her more or want to hang out with her more. And she did what most singles do, and I'm going to admittedly say I used to do, is love harder. Soon after, Mike admittedly said, I've been pulling away because I've been struggling financially. And so what did Jenny do? Jenny, the good person and the lover that she is, loved even harder and moved him into her house. She was really helpful for once. She was like, this is going to change, everything's going to change, we're going to be together, and we're going to fall in love even stronger. So yes, Mike moved in. Did he pay any bills? No. Did he clean the house? No. Did he help out with any of the chores? No. Did Mike's bad behavior make Jen stop and put on the brakes? No. Honestly, she kept loving him harder and harder and harder in hopes that she could get that one day with him, marriage. Mike dangled that carrot in front of her because he knew she really, really wanted it. And if he could just give her enough, she would stay. He never really, really met her needs. She was working a really high-stress corporate job. And one day, Jenny closed a massive deal. And she was so excited. It's the biggest deal of her career. She picked up the phone, tried to get a hold of Mike. Obviously, ding, 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 he didn't pick up. So she ran off and drove home with a bottle of champagne in her hand, one she bought, of course. She was ready to celebrate the special day with Mike. So Jen grabbed a few glasses and headed to the bedroom so she could share her news. But Mike was already busy. Really, really busy. Yep. He was busy screwing her best friend. Are you serious? Jen just dropped to the ground, fell into tears. She literally went from her highest accomplishment to the lowest day in her life. This boyfriend was what landed her in my office. It was a defining moment that she realized she needed help. I know what some of you are thinking. You're like, I think I know a Mike. I might know a Jen too. Or am I a Jen? Or if worse, am I Mike? That's because Jen, the person that isn't doing enough due diligence and just loving unconditionally without making that person earn the love, attracts very predatory people, takers, moochers, narcissists. Jen came to me with one goal in mind, She wanted to find her forever relationship. So our work began with understanding what led her to choosing these type of men. As a dating coach, I hear it all the time. Many singles out there that are giving to the point where they're feeling exploited, used, and they're just defeated. Many of us don't realize it, but a lot of our influences for our romantic relationships and our platonic relationships start when we're young. My client grew up in a home where her mother was very toxic and insecure. She is the type of mother that would pit her kids against each other. So they were always feeling like they were never enough, and they were always trying to validate themselves through their mother. The man that her mother chose to be her companion wasn't a great father figure either. He used to drink himself to sleep every night, and eventually he would abandon them and their family. Her mother was scared, desperate, and lonely. She loved so hard, she went and found any man that would take her. She saw her mother love man after man unconditionally with no boundaries. They exploited her, used her, and abused her, and she stuck it out and wanted to love them even harder. And of course, to go even deeper, her mother grew up in the same toxic environment. You know, the sad truth is we learn from what we see, not from what we're told. Jenny was different though. She knew she deserved better. She started questioning these patterns. She's like, why does this keep happening over and over again? Maybe there's a different way. And guess what? She was right. She actually started reaching out for help. She went to a therapist and started working on all the trauma. And then she reached out to me and said, Amie, I just want you to teach me what a healthy, happy relationship looks like. What does good look like? And I said, I can take that task. I sat down with her and focused on helping her date herself first and learn about her values, her deal breakers in relationships, her needs. When Jenny was ready to go online, we created an online dating profile for her. Within a few months of her doing online dating, she met someone and she was super excited. We were both super excited, but there were some red flags that I did notice. Because guess what? It's not going to be perfect the first time. He ended up being an alcoholic. He fit almost 90% of everything she wanted. And it was hard because when Jenny met him, she liked him because he was charming, he was fun. She thought he was a social drinker. She started seeing patterns of addiction and alcoholism. For the first time in Jenny's life, she walked away from a toxic relationship. She didn't try harder to make sure it worked. Instead, she recognized that it was time to let go and move on. She broke a cycle that happened generation after generation before her. This brave woman, because she said no to what she didn't want, she actually made room for what she did want. The next guy that came into her life, she was no longer sitting by the phone wondering if he was going to call her, because he would always call when he said he would. He texted her just to tell her he missed her and he loved her. He always had the bigger picture of their relationship together in his mind and always made her feel like a priority. For the first time, Jenny felt absolutely safe and secure in a relationship. She didn't have to change herself, prove herself. She was loved just for being her authentic self. When Jenny came to me, she had no idea who she was. All her life, as we know, she was morphing into whatever a guy wanted. The 6 months that we worked together, we developed a relationship plan for her. Now she had a clear vision of her ideal partner and relationship. She knew what was okay and not okay to put up with. And because of that, she was able to walk away from dysfunctional relationships much quicker. And she finally chose somebody that was worthy of her love. If this is something you're struggling with right now, leave a question. Please let us know because we want to help you. And if you want to speak to me privately, just go to amiethedatingcoach.com and click on Let's Talk. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.